So what you're about to watch is a conversation with Jess and Nick, two of our clients in eCom Capital. And this is really interesting because both Jess and Nick were not e-commerce business owners 12 months ago. Nick, self-admittedly, didn't even post on socials 12 months ago, still doesn't post on socials. And this conversation is just going to unpack some of their journey in terms of them building their business to what it is now, and also just going through a lot of the specific details that people like you might be thinking of or listening to from the outside before you perhaps think about starting a business. So Jess, Nick, tell us a little bit about who you are, the brand that you built, and the product that you sell to begin with.
My name's Nick, this is my wife.
Jess.
We have a brand called Braek, so that we've started off with a gym towel. We've been running for roughly about 12 months we have now. So we started back in, I think, June or July is when we first started coming through the program. And here we are today.
The product that you guys have created, how did that all come to life in terms of like, was this something that you had in your mind before you came in completely with no idea about what to sell?
We didn't have a product when we first actually started.
Blinds, you were saying.
Yeah. It wasn't actually a gym towel. So when we started the search for an actual product, so what we're actually going to go in, so we've both been part of the gym and love going to the gym. Jess travels all the time. So what our original product was actually going to be a collapsible protein shaker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know this.
Yeah. No, not many people do.
So don't steal it. I still want to do it.
Because Jess was traveling all the time and just having something that was small and compact and being able to take things away, that was the path that we were actually going to try and head down. When we looked into doing all the costing of that, it was really quite expensive to have a mold and get everything up and going. So we thought we're not going to invest that much money first off, being our first product. We wanted to stay with something that was small, compact and pretty cost effective.
We had $2,700 in the bank when we started.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was our starting point.
So you were like forced into choosing like MOQs and products with like lean budget.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that either. I'm discovering this as we go here. This is fantastic. The cool thing is you guys talk in a way that comes across like you're doing numbers, margins, MOQs and things like that. Take me back to before you started, around 12 months ago, in terms of like what was just a typical day-to-day for you guys? What were you doing? Job, career? Like what was a usual run-of-the-mill Tuesday?
For me, I've been a tradesman, been a plumber for 20 something years, had a bit of a couple little injuries. So just tried to steer away from the tools. And I've sort of jumped into doing training and assessing. So I train and assess apprentice plumbers at this point in time. So I'm traveling backwards and forwards from down here on the coast up to Brisbane. So that can be quite frustrating at times, the amount of traffic that we have. So
Which is one reason that we wanted to start the business, because I want him to stop traveling and stop complaining about the traffic.
And yourself, Jess?
So I have been a business development manager for a travel company, and it's a national role. So I go away every single week. I've been in sales for 20 years. So I've been going around speaking to travel agents and working with them to build their businesses. And Nick's always said, why are we doing it for other people and not just ourselves? So that's why we wanted to start something, because we have the skills to be able to do it. Also, we thought we had the skills.
Now, I'm curious, it sounds like it was a slow, almost like build up of the travel, things happening, but I'm just curious, you guys have a particular goal that you want to get to with your business and you shared it with me. Can we discuss that? Because I'd like to just understand, like, how did that decision come about? Obviously, we're building other people's businesses. There's that component, there's the travel, but I'm curious, like, if you could share, like, what you guys are building the business for, like, where you want to get to. And then also, how did you kind of come to that decision that you were like, what we're doing is not going to get us there? You know, like, with the discussion, was there a moment? Was there, I don't know, a massive pile up on the motorway? How did that come about? Yeah.
I have worked for myself before. I did have a small service business. So just been servicing customers all the time face to face. And there is pretty much a limit to what you can do in one day. There's only so many chargeable hours that you have when you're out on site, you're coming home, you're doing paperwork. So that structure, I suppose, was really sort of worn thin on me. And that's why I said to Jess, I said, you know, I was always trying to encourage Jess to help me out, but she's like, I'm not interested in plumbing. I don't want to know about it. It was always pretty difficult just being out there doing your own thing. You're quoting, you're speaking to people. It's just a never-ending cycle.
And it's that typical husband does the work, wife is the bookkeeper.
Yeah, pretty much.
We have a business.
And it's hard. It's very time consuming. So, and that's one of the reasons I could see Jess's ability and what she does all the time. I'm like, you need to start doing this for yourself. And I think it's taken years and years to actually, to convince her to actually start working for her. I've got no desire to do that.
And so the goal that you guys have to, maybe whether it's a direct income goal, whether it's like the lifestyle freedom that's important to you, talking about that.
A few years ago, we did some vision planning of where we kind of want to go and where we want to get to in life and what that comes down to, and like looking at that and what our day-to-day is going to look like in the next 5 to 10 years. Everything that we have been working towards has been looking back at that vision. So having that like really strong why as to where we want to go. So we want to be able to travel as much as possible and have an income while we're doing that. So that's our main goal, but to be able to build wealth as well, to be able to retire early, for Nick to retire.
Yeah. Well, I'm never going to stop working. You always need something to do,
Correct.
but having that flexibility, and I think with just online businesses this day and age, with all the technology that we have, you don't need multiple people to do quite well out of it. Lots of people doing well with such a small amount of people or team behind them.
Because it sounds like the vision planning happened some time ago.
Yeah.
You guys did that a while ago. It's like, this is what we want to create. We want to build a different life. Was there something that happened between like that happening 3 to 5 years ago and then you starting 12 months ago, this business, where you were like, okay, enough's enough. Like we need to be serious with this thing. Otherwise it's going to be a nice vision board and our lives are going to be the same.
I've always said we're not going to move the needle while we're working for somebody. Like, there's only so much you can do with the jobs that we have. So I had a goal to hit a couple of financial goals. So my job is a little bit flexible. So I was doing a little bit of stuff on the side. So I went back on the tools. I took on a pretty big job where I was climbing up a ladder at 10 meters high. And I was like, I can't do this. You know, I'm absolutely knackered.
Dude, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, to try and to get a job just to make a little bit extra money. Then Jess came up.
And then you popped up on Instagram.
So it was kind of like that moment where you were like doing this little bit of like almost side hustle work and odd jobs and up and down ladders, and you were like,
yeah, I'm done. I'm getting cranky. Yeah, I'm getting pretty cranky here.
Very cranky.
were you guys having discussions about this in terms of like, honey, what happens if you fall off the ladder? You know, that kind of stuff.
No, because Nick has always said, like, we need to do an online business. We need to just sit.
He's the dreamer.
Yeah, he's a dreamer. I'll do something, you know, sell something boring, like blinds. Honestly, he was like, we can sell blinds. And I was like, I don't want to sell blinds. Like, far out, that's so boring. I think it just had popped up that you had said that you wanted to do that, and then you were complaining and trying to get these guys done.
Educated discussions.
About doing these drain pipes, and I was just like, this is just ridiculous. And then I wasn't even searching or anything, but you guys just must have known. The algorithm went my way.
Wow, so even in your mind, you were not like, oh, I really want to do this. It was just kind of like, it was that thought in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
And as you guys came together and thought more about it, it was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
I think it was on your feed for a while first.
Yeah, I had seen you guys pop up and I looked at it,
And then
Just swipe on by.
on by.
Maybe next time.
And then it got to me and I was like, I booked us in.
All right, wow. You're the action taker. So good. He's the dreamer, you're the action taker. I like it.
It's 50-50. So
What did you try before? Were there any things that you did? Were there any like experiments apart from Nick getting up and down the ladders and trying to do like little side hustle? Were there any things that you tried to do
I didn't even try. I didn't even have social media on my phone.
at all?
No.
Even personally?
No, personally, I did not have a social media.
And he doesn't even post on social media.
Correct.
So you guys were full blown under the rock.
Correct.
no,
We had-
you did one thing. Remember you wrote
What
that
did I do?
the little Amazon book?
Oh, yes, I did.
Yes.
I did. I did an Amazon book, like write your own book and sell it on Amazon.
And how did that go?
I sold like 4 copies to friends. It was great.
Wild success.
It's a really big success. We had kind of said, let's not do social media. And I had done it for 1 year, and then I was like into my 2nd year, and I would only go on every couple of months. So it was just like, I was on just checking it for the last few months, and you popped up and I was like, cool, I booked it.
So you're not even on socials and we still got you.
Still got us.
Wow. I feel even better about this now. Holy. You said something in one of the discussions at the event, Jess. The 20 years of being in sales, building other people's businesses, had this skill set, maybe skill set combined with a little bit of ego that you're like, I kind of know what I'm doing. And then when you came in and started building your business, it was like, talk me through the skills that you had to learn and relearn, and how many of the ones from your previous career or current career are relevant or transferable, if any at all?
I think the only ones that would be kind of relevant is that creating the urgency and understanding the funnel and the sales process and that sort of stuff. But everything else, no idea.
Was that challenging to be like,
Yeah.
I feel pretty confident in what I do, and then all of a sudden you're like, I need to start from scratch?
It was literally learning an entire new skill again. It's a whole new language as well. Trying to understand MOQs and CPAs, and I don't even know. CPA. Yeah,
that's right.
Like, just trying to understand that language as a whole as well. And I thought Alibaba was a scam website. I didn't realize that Alibaba was like this wealth of people and products and everything. I thought it was like a stay away from this website sort of thing.
And I remember very specifically, Naira and I used to always say to each other before we started selling stuff on the internet, and it was like the whole idea of it, it's so difficult to grasp in your mind, because for as long as you can ever remember, you go, I show up here, I spend time here, I get paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so there's this whole like idea of like, so you mean to say that stuff can happen on the internet and I can have money deposited? Like, you're like, what? Like, it's so difficult to even rationalize, and you try and tie your brain in knots thinking about it. And you're just like, I remember when Naira and I, like, Naira first, she was like, we were both watching courses, videos, doing all this stuff. And it was like, so what do you think happened? And I remember the first time I first ever made money, and my Shopify, ding, 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 3 sales overnight. And I was waiting for the money to hit my bank account, because I was like, I don't know if it will. Maybe it's, who knows? And then it hit the bank, and I was like, it's real?
Yeah.
It breaks your mind.
I think being from a trade perspective, like from doing those drains, we were chasing them for the
I've
payment.
got to do the job.
Do the job, and then you have to chase for the payment. So you have to outlay the material before you do it. And
So
then
you're
you have
losing
to
money
think-
for weeks and months before
Yeah.
they pay.
Correct.
And they're not, just because they just don't want to pay. There's no reason. They just hold it and
Just to drag it.
just to drag it out. Yeah.
Which is unfair on small businesses. You say all the time now, it goes off, how good is it that like people are paying me and I'm getting the money, and I still haven't even sent the product yet, but I'm not even chasing people.
So true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a great model.
Just to close off on the skills that transferred, not transferred, was that challenging, like almost like having to check your ego a little bit and be like, I'm pretty good, and then be like, hold up, girl, like I got to just take a hot second here and be like.
That's like one of the things that wealthy people always say, like the skills that you need to have are sales, marketing, and just like the people skills, right? The sales side of things I understood, but the marketing, that's a really big one. I think in businesses, like salespeople, like, what are marketing people even doing? And then marketing people, like, what are salespeople even doing? Sort of thing when you're in like a business, like a, I don't know, a real world business. And so I was like, oh, well, how hard could it be? They don't do anything. It's really hard. It's really hard, and it's completely different.
It's that black box of just like, whatever they do, push a few buttons, generate some leads.
Yeah. Making a website, I thought that would be not too hard to do, but it's the skills of what the website, it's not just having a website and just putting pictures up in the product. It's like the words that you're using, the placement of stuff, having round edges or straight edges is going to determine your type of bio that you're going to have. Like,
So true.
just small little details like that. You can change one thing and it can completely change the conversion of your website.
The way that you talk about this stuff now is, and I say this full of like, oh, my heart gets full of gratitude, but jump on the coaching calls and I hear people like you and a lot of other clients, I wind back 6 months, 12 months, sitting in the call, silent, won't ask a single question because don't know anything. And then fast forward 6 months and then we're like, okay, so what I find is when I round the corners, and you're like, wow, like you can learn that quickly, but people are just like afraid to start the learning process and to feel a little bit dumb for a little bit.
Funny saying that. We were just having this conversation yesterday. I said to Jess, remember how I told you like to put your camera on and actually ask questions? Because when we first jumped on the call, it was like camera was off and we're just like sitting there listening.
Yeah. And now when my camera's off, it means I'm eating.
So talk me through the day-to-day now, because I know you guys are still working full-time and I know you spend a lot of time obviously continuing your careers until the business is big enough. How do you manage the career and everything you've got going as well as the business, which now is building bigger and bigger, and you're pushing on those things as well? So I'm just curious, like the day-to-day functions that you have now, how has that changed in terms of the addition now of this business, and how do you manage the time of that?
My work is flexible in the hours that it does because I'm on the road all the time. So if I'm on a plane or something like that, I'll be doing either emails or doing ad creation, just depending what time of the day it is, depending on when I'm on the flight. But generally, I'm waking up early in the morning, 4:30, 5 o'clock, maybe earlier, going to the gym, coming home, doing a few hours work. And then when I finished my 9 to 5, that's when I start doing more stuff at night time. And I'm doing that till 10 o'clock at night. So doing it before and after, making it a priority. Like we don't watch TV anymore.
I was going to say, what does it replace? So it sounds like it's replaced those things, the TV, and there's like the hanging out time.
Correct. Yeah. We've made sure that we schedule in hanging out time for half a day on the weekend where we don't talk about work or we don't do anything. So we're still making sure we do get that, especially because we don't see each other heaps. But other than that, we're both just nonstop doing stuff.
I'm pretty lucky with my job too. I don't work a full year, so I'm probably only working about 9 months of the year. So that gives me a little bit of flexibility. Generally speaking, when I do big hours, I squeeze all my hours with my normal job first, and then when I come towards, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm pretty much free every single week. But it's still at lunchtime, I'll check in and jump on the books as I sort of look after the operation side of things. So Jess has her little part of looking after creatives, and I sort of jump into all the operations, making sure we've got money in the bank to try and scale up and do those things that we need to do. Stock, pay the credit card.
The process as you start, because like from what it sounds like, essentially not posting on socials, not having socials, like very, very, very kind of like unaware of like what's required. So I'm just curious, like as you came through and started working with the team, jumping on the calls first with the camera off, now with the camera on, how was that process? Just in terms of like the learning, the steps, because like, although it seems like, and it is just like a no duh, what else did you expect was going to happen? But it's also like, it's very fast, and it might not feel like it for where you guys are now because you're inside it. So you can't really feel it. You're just like, I don't know, this is just how we live our life now. But like when you see it on the outside happen that quick, and you guys will reflect on the photos that you take and all of your little snapshots that you take. But like, how was that process of going from like zero and then starting to learn and kind of figuring it out and then being like, oh, this is a lot more, I'm overwhelmed, or how do I get help? That whole process of actually like, beginning step by step.
I think at the beginning, as you say, it's pretty straightforward. Like the program is there and you can do it as fast or as slow as you want. I'm one of those people that like to get shit done. I literally will do it and then I'll move on to the next thing. Like I think I was probably up until 2 o'clock in the morning, like every night just watching it and getting through. And then Nick would wake up and I'd be like, oh yeah, I did this last night, just so you know. Or like, what do you think about this? Like,
It's like, oh wow, honey, the best sleep, and you're like,
I was like, oh, you have.
I've got our product sorted.
Yeah.
I've got this done.
I was like, you need to watch this. Like, this is something that you definitely need to read and understand and go through. We were kind of just doing it that way. But yeah, I like to get stuff done. I like to get in, do it, move on to the next thing. And then I can always go back and re-look later. On the calls, it is very nerve-wracking getting on the calls for the first time and not understanding exactly what you're going to do. But the coaches are so good for everyone who's new. They always recognize the new faces that are on, which is really nice. And then there's the order that you can sort of submit your questions. So if you don't want to jump on camera or, talk, you don't have to. They've got the questions submitted. But I do find that over time, you see all these people getting on and talking. You're like, oh, they're getting more time than me. Like, I need to ask this question. How do I do that? And you come with questions. You've got the variety of calls that you can jump on to be able to speak to the right person to do that. And then you just kind of get your answer. And then you're like, sweet, all right, I'll see you next week. All right, my next question after I've done it all.
Do you think a lot of that drive in terms of I like to just get in and get shit done, do you think that comes maybe from like your career? Have you always just been pretty driven in that respect? Or is it she's a bit of a nutter?
Such a problem solver. Just everything is now. He's just like, oh my God.
Problem solving. And Nick always says, like, I'm like my mum and my grandma, like we're the Energizer buddies. We just like, keep going. Yeah.
So it's more so like now you're just applying that energy into something that's yours, and you can see that it's going to continue growing as opposed to applying it into a job.
I mean, I'm still applying it into my
of course.
current business. Yeah. Still applying it, but that's just the way I take life.
You're really good at it.
Did you deviate from the plan? Did you try and reinvent the wheel and be like, oh, that sounds good the way the coach told me to do that, I'm going to go this direction? Sounds like a guilty smile and a laugh going on here.
There may have been a couple little decisions and choices, where we've done things just not thinking. You're just like, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea, and click. I think it was around creatives a couple of times. We'd turn things on and turn things off, and then somebody looks at it and go, why have you done that? I'm like, just because.
What a good question.
Putting the price up the other day, and we were like, oh, let's just put the price up. We needed to do that. Anyway,
we didn't really think that one through.
Yeah.
Of course.
People bought it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the coaches are the ones that they're talking to so many people, but they still know your business and remember and help you and guide you and hold you accountable, which is really great too. Like, that's what I need. I need someone that's why the program's so good too, is because it tells you what you need to do, like literally step by step, and you just do it and you move on and get on to the next.
And you get the result.
Who would have thought?
We didn't know if we were going to get the result when we first launched.
Talk me through this, because I imagine that would have been pretty nerve-wracking. Like, you guys started in June and then launched around Black Friday.
Around Black Friday, yeah. We hadn't even had our product, hadn't even been shipped. We had about $900 left in the bank account by this time. Yeah, right, that was all that we had to run our campaign.
Wow.
We'd done a pre-order. We were just out the front of our place and we were walking, and I got the little cash register went on my phone, the ding ding. I was like, oh shit. I'm like, what's that? I'm like, yes, we've sold one. We've sold one towel. People want to buy it, yeah. People want to buy this.
How did the first month go?
Well, then we turned the ads off.
Turn the ads off because we didn't actually have the product. We're like, we don't want to waste our $900 because that's all we had left in the account.
So you were pre-sale, fully on pre-sale, and then you were like, you didn't even have the product in stock at all.
No, we got like 1 or 2 sales, and then we were like, okay, let's
Yeah,
turn
we're
it
about
off
2 weeks
and
away.
know that the product's on its way, and then we'll
Yeah.
turn it back on again.
And so when that actually arrived, it was a little bit closer to Black Friday. That's when we went and a couple sales come through. I think we did about 20 sales in about 2 weeks. And so, yeah, we just had to do it slowly because we hadn't put any extra money. That was what was left over from doing the little plumbing side hustle. That was what had sort of been burnt up from paying for the website and all the other examples, from shipping overseas and stuff like that of the product. So yeah, it had burnt up, and I was like, oh, no, we're going to do this with not putting any money out of our pays or deviating from what our other personal goals are from the outside. So we just built it up from there.
And good that you stuck to that as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that get excited. Oh, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get everything and everything. And you're like, no, 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 no. And this is why that plan's also so important, because so many people, if they don't have that, they're next minute they're going and hiring wildly expensive designers, and they're getting these people and these models. And I'm like, good God, what are you doing? Like, we need to get the proof of concept, and then you can go and invest more into the business.
We nearly went down that way, Jess, because like with the creative, she's like, oh, I need to do this course. And then she's like spoken to this person who was going to help, with all these creatives. And what was that about? 5 or 6 grand? I was like, no. And look how good you've done with all your creatives. But anyway, yeah, so back to the story. We sort of got through, we did those 20 sales, and then Black Friday kicked off.
Oh, so the 20 was before Black Friday?
Just before, right. Yeah. And then Black Friday kicked off, and yeah, they started going out the door pretty quick.
So first month we did like 17,000.
Was it your first month, 17?
Yeah.
How did that feel in terms of like, you would have worked hard, obviously, to get to it. So like, but it's still like a uncertain fear, excitement, nervousness. Like there's a whole mix of emotions that you're doing that. So
well, it was Christmas time. So we were like, oh, everyone's just buying it for presents.
Yeah, well, Black Friday, then come
and
into Christmas, yeah.
So people were just buying these for Christmas presents.
And that's what we thought. These just people buying for gifts, because the demographic was a little bit older, because obviously you can go through all your ads and things like that and see what the demographic of people is. And I'm like, oh, I don't know, is this just mums and dads buying presents for people? Or, yeah, we're not sure.
January came along and we still did 14s, but we had gone down. So we were like, maybe it was a fluke.
Right. So it was like 17 November and then December similar?
17 was December, because it was Black Friday was just end of November.
Got it.
Yeah. So it was about $2,500 or something in the first month, but it was at the end of the month when we started.
So January was a little bit softer, and then February the same, a little bit softer as well?
No.
Or picked right back up?
Picked back up again.
We
changed our website and tried bring the conversion back up, and we did express shipping instead of
changed off a little bit.
Standard shipping.
What was February in terms of result?
February we did about 24 in revenue, and I think we were sitting at up to about 3.5% conversion, I think.
And then March was when we did 40K, higher conversion, and then April we've just hit 60.
Was it 60 in April?
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that much.
So in the last month we've just done nearly 50.
In the last
55.
yeah,
so
in the
April.
last, yeah.
And
Wow.
because we didn't have any email marketing.
Oh God, don't get me started on that thing.
All the
Jesus.
pop-up box.
You're killing me with that. You're like, oh yeah, all of those people.
Well, do you know why? Because I just had it in my head.
This is deviation from the plan, right? This is,
Yeah.
oh, what'd you guys do? I don't know. We just didn't do that whole thing.
Because I don't like them and I click it off.
You assume no one else does. It's exactly that.
I was like, these things are so
Yeah, not
annoying
me.
when they pop.
100%. You don't get those emails. It's like the amount of opportunity that gets missed.
Yeah.
Wow, so you guys did 55,000 last month. I didn't even realize it was that much. That's incredible. How does that feel? We're coming in now, I guess, to encroaching on maybe coming up to almost 12 months of entire time building the business. Does it just feel like this is the new normal? Like if you were to kind of wind back on where you were 12 months ago versus where you are now, is there some things that you feel like you guys have changed? I don't know, about the way you live your life, the way you think, that's just very different to the way you were 12 months ago?
Definitely mindset has definitely changed. I'm feeling a lot more confident from what we're actually doing.
Just confident about like the future?
Yeah, confident in the future, just where we're at within our life. Yeah, 100%. Feels really fulfilling.
I was excited if we were going to do $10,000 a month. And then when we did the 17, I was like, oh, well, that's our baseline now. Like, we just have to hit that every month.
Yeah.
Like, so 20K a month, that's bloody great. Turns out it can do more.
And is it the same, like excitement for the future, that feeling of like, because I think if I reflect back to like when I had a job, like the feeling that you're like, my ambition is huge and the feeling that I have all this potential is huge, but then like what I'm doing, you can just play a line and watch it go out in the future and you're like, that's all I'm going to get.
If you hit your target and you know what bonus has already been set out for you, for example.
Everything's predetermined.
It's all predetermined and you already know all that.
Mine was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going down. Brother's going down.
I'm going nowhere.
And this is probably where the sales comes in, is that I'm very target driven. And so now this gives me targets that can now work backwards and be like, okay, well, if we want to hit our personal goals here, then we need to be able to be doing this to get it. So break it down per day. And that's what we do, our celebrations, because then we kind of know like, oh, we're on the way to getting to those goals.
Yeah. What would you say to people who like, because you guys are very busy, right? And I think there's like this idea that, I guess there's different ways to think of it. Number one, it's like you need to spend like, I don't know, 40 hours a week building this business, and then I have a job, so there's no way I can do it. I'm not even going to try. And then on the other side, it's like when you do, like I look at the way that like Naira runs the Dessous company, and she spends 2 hours a week, it almost runs on just oxygen after years and years and years of doing it, 4, 5, 6 years. I'm curious, like the way that you run the business and the way that you guys spend your time with your careers that seem to accommodate quite nicely for it. What would you say to someone who's like in that viewpoint where they're like, oh, you know, I'm way too busy for it. I don't have the time, or I don't have this, or I don't have that. How do you guys see it now that you're on the other side?
I don't think they have their priorities right. Either you want it or you don't. It's not going to come and fall on the table.
Oh, here's money. Here you go.
Yeah, you got to take action. So
It's not a get rich quick.
no, it's a process with everything you do. If you follow the process that's been outlined for you, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to get to a result at the end. It's like you don't go and get a gym membership and get fit if you don't go.
That's exactly right.
And you've actually got to turn up and do the work and get it done to get the result. So you've got to have your priorities pretty much set out. If you're committed to do it, you can do it. You only fail when you stop.
I was just going to say, you have to know your why you're doing it. It's not just like, I think if you are more clear to yourself as exactly why you want to achieve this and why you want to do an online business, then you'll have the priorities to be able to do it correct. So there's the two components of that, I reckon.
Was it the kind of like the vision thing that you guys did that helped with that initially for you to have that like why? I remember like years ago when I was like, oh, you got to know your why. I was like, I have no idea what my why is. And then as you start to build something, the why starts to get clearer and clearer. It does. And then you're like, oh, it's like I'm pulling on this thread. And then the more I pull on it, the clearer it gets, kind of thing. So was your why like very clear at the start? Like this idea of traveling and the lifestyle, was that always the thing for you guys?
That's always been. And you have to kind of work backwards from it. I think if you know what your why is, then you can kind of calculate, okay, well, if I want to get there and we want to be traveling, we have to have something that's online. Like you can't just be working overseas and be doing Australian hours when you're in Mexico. So having that online business to be able to do that is one part of the steps to be able to get into our goal.
What was something good, bad, indifferent that surprised you about your experience working with the team, the way that maybe things were structured, that when you came in, you were like, huh, that's interesting. Were there any kind of things that come to mind?
When Jess first signed up to the course, I was like, oh, the program, sorry. I was like, oh my God, like they're paying this money to do this. What? You just take care of it for the start. Oh, wow. Yeah, I was like, even though we were both doing it, I was very skeptical.
Super skeptical. He was like, I'm not even going to
I'm paying someone off Instagram here. Like, you're kidding me? Like, what is this?
What was it that made you so skeptic?
It's just buying.
It's just too good to be true.
Yeah, well, not too good to be true. Just paying somebody that's put something up on Instagram. Because I've never been that online person, so I don't see that. You know, my ads have been in the satellite newspaper. That's a lot different. So I was like really skeptical of it all.
Just to close off on that, was there a moment that the skepticism turned to like, huh, like maybe I will listen?
Yeah, it's just probably from jumping on the calls and doing that. And I think coming to an event, I was like, what's this shit? Like by the end of it, I could see, because I think the way that you actually deliver things in the way that you coach people to how I've gone through and done training in a business is way people train here in Australia with their businesses, and to try, wouldn't say it's coaching here in Australia with a business. It's just at a completely different level. I was like, hang on a second. I can see the relevance in this.
It's almost like there's a little bit of like, you do a kind of, you could see some like principles of like, oh, this is how people train and teach, but you're like, okay, this is in a different category.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I was like, hang on a second, because I have been in a small business. I'm like, hang on a second, I could have like implemented some of these things into my small business many years ago. And I thought, hang on a second, if I knew that back then, then it'd probably been a little bit different.
Despite being still skeptic, it's almost like coming along as a passenger. You know what I mean?
Seriously.
I'm here, but don't expect me to do anything.
He was like, when we were there, he was like, it's such a nice day today.
Maybe we should go to the beach.
Yeah, he was like, it's
Well, it'd been
really
raining,
nice
I think,
day.
all
It
week.
had been raining all week, and there was just the first day.
He's worried about the weather.
He was worried about the weather. Honestly, we were standing there having the coffee before we went in,
Yeah.
and he was just like, it is such a nice day today. If this is shit, I'm going down to the beach and you can stay. And I was like, okay.
And what about for you, Jess? Like at the moment you made the decision, you were like, let's go. I'm committed to it. Were you kind of similar?
No, I was committed to it. The coaches have all had online businesses
Exactly.
and have like the knowledge around it.
And one thing too, you got deflated a number of times too from the feedback that you get sometimes from the coach. You can't take it personally.
As in like when things are like not good.
Yeah,
You feel like you've done a really great job.
and you're like, oh, this is like,
and then they're like,
yeah.
oh, actually, blah, blah, blah. And you're
Oh,
like,
I know exactly.
and then you get off the call and turn
You're
your
like-
camera off and you're like, oh.
Well, you can't take
wow.
it. You can't take it personally because they're trying to help you. You've got to be able to take that positive criticism.
The coaches are there, like they want to see you win.
Yeah.
You can see their passion behind each of them, can't you?
If you guys didn't take the action and hustle to get the cash together and get things organized, where do you think you'd be now?
I don't think we'd be very far at all, to be honest.
Do you think you would have started anything?
Or maybe I would have written another
Another
Amazon
book and sold 8 of them.
Maybe I would have doubled it. But no, honestly, probably just watching TV and sleeping more. How boring.
It's hard. Like I didn't know the magnitude of actually what goes in behind building an e-commerce business. So I don't think we would have been much further ahead. You got somebody there to tell you what mistakes you're actually making and what you need to do. Without that, I don't know where you would actually be.
And I was just going to say, like, because we're in the fitness space, we did go to the gym and stuff, but this just makes us want to get up, use it, go do a little bit
It's like
more.
reinforces the
It
habit.
reinforces the habit even
Yeah.
more. Now we're those people that film at the gym.
One last thing, if somebody was to finish watching this video and then they would click the apply button to, you know, book a call to potentially work with us, what do you think they should expect from you guys who have gone through from the start? Mr. Skeptic over here, it's driven and Energizer Bunny. What do you think they should expect?
Well, when I clicked the button, the first call I did was with Adnan, and he said, are you going to be doing this by yourself? And I said, oh no, my husband's going to be doing it. And he said, oh, okay, let's reschedule the call, because he wanted Nick there too. So there's no objections straight away. And it wasn't me trying to explain something. He wanted to explain it to both of us at the same time to know that we were both committed.
Right.
So if you're doing it like with someone else, make sure that they're on the call.
Both on.
first.
You've both got to be on the same page. You got to have the same goals, same vision.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then as soon as you get into the program, though, just start doing it. It's a step-by-step process, and it's very clearly laid out as to how to get through it and what you need to do. And honestly, the coaches will pull you up if something's not right. Like our first idea that we had, we got on a call with Hammond and went through the numbers, and he said, you guys can't do that. You've got $2,700. You haven't budgeted for $20,000 to be able to get this started. So change it.
It's that raw feedback that you need.
Yeah.
Correct.
Versus like, guys, looks good, congratulations. And next minute you're like, oh my God.
You'll get the directness and the truth told to you, but it's all in goodwill to make your business better and succeed. You're doing it for a reason.
I'm super pumped. I know you got some of your product there, and I know you're going to run off for the rest of your Sunday and prepare for New Zealand trips and all the other great things you got going on. Thanks so much for having this conversation. Super helpful. I learned a lot, even just about you guys and the journey, and very, very, very grateful. I'm really pumped to see you guys get to 100K a month and beyond.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. Maybe it's going to happen a lot sooner than we think at the current pace.
Simon's trying to get us 5x this month.
I mean, this is the end of financial year is a perfect time. This is the time to really ramp it up. So super pumped. Thank you again so much.
Thank you.
No worries. Thank you.